Hello and welcome, my dear second standard students. This is Rohan sir from Mahdi English Medium School. I welcome you all in English lecture today. And my dear students, in today's English lecture, let me tell you before we start anything, it is going to be really enjoyable and interesting for you only if you will take keen interest in it. Since many lectures we have been doing the lesson 1 and 2 theory part and revision and lots of things from grammar also we have finished. But in this lecture you have to write nothing, you have to do nothing but to listen to me and shout the answers loudly at the home as you do in the school. Yes, so let us see, why am I asking you to shout? Why am I asking you to shout the answers? Yes, just don't shout that your parents scold you and gives you the thrashing and come to me for complaint. Yes, you can shout the answers as you do in the school, and I hope that you will do that so that you will get more interested in the lecture. But how and what is the format? Let us see. So what are we going to do today? Today we are going to do the revision explanation of lesson 1 and most probably 2 also if we get the time further. Now the interesting thing is with counter questions. Counter questions means after each 2 or 3 paragraph we will discuss certain question answers not from the textbook but from the lessons within, which may or may not be there in the textual exercise part, which you might have got or not, but it will be there in the counter questions. So whatever I explain you, I'll ask the question from that. I'll give you 2 seconds to shout the answer and then I'll repeat the correct answer and you have to repeat after me. But these questions will be within the textbook, within the explanations. So I hope I'm very much clear with this. I'll give you the time to shout the answers and I will even correct you if you are wrong. I'll just speak out the correct answers and that will be your modification, and that is the mode where you can modify yourselves. Anyways, let's get started with lesson number 1. Now as you all know, my dear students, that it's been long we have discussed lesson number 1. Many of you were not even aware about that lesson, so do I have taken this step to again start with lesson number 1 with again detailed explanation, revision, and this explanation will obviously be in the way of revision as we have added counter questions and answers for you. Yes, the questions will be verbally asked and not written, so you have to carefully listen to whatever I am explaining you and speaking and asking you. So here the name of the lesson is 1-inch warrior. So while explaining you for the first time, I even explained you that this story is all on fantasy. So for those who have already watched the videos, the explanation videos, they might be knowing the story entirely, but still they even have the doubts at many places. So the reason behind making the video is many of them, those who have already watched the old videos of explanation, they know the story, merely they know it, but still they have the doubt at certain places. Secondly, this video specially I have made for those who have not yet watched the old videos and who have not got the links of the old videos. So here is one more chance for you. Life gives chance to everyone. Life gives second chance to everyone. So this is the second chance to all, but with the revision counter questions. So my dear students, the name of the lesson is the 1-inch warrior. Now here I explain you what is the meaning of 1 inch. It is the height of the boy in the story, only of 1 inch. Just imagine a boy with a height of only 1 inch, and warrior. So how is it connected? First you say, sir, it is of 1 inch, the boy is of 1 inch, and then sir you say that he is a warrior. Is it possible? You might be thinking that sir is speaking something contradictory, self-opposite things, that the boy is of 1 inch and he is a warrior too. This is not possible, but let me tell you again, story is all on fantasy. It is not real, it is fiction. Correct? The opposite of real is fiction. Fiction means which is not real. Correct? Fiction means which is imaginary, a kind of imaginary. So let's see how the 1 inch boy is considered to be a great warrior in this lesson. Let us start with. Now clearly I'll read the story and explain you, and in between, like I said, we'll ask the question possibly after 2 or 3 paragraphs. So now here, long ago there lived a man and woman. They wanted to have a child, so they prayed to God. So this story starts with a long time ago. This story starts with the line long ago means what? The story is of long time ago, many years back or many decades back. You never know. The time is not mentioned here as specific in the story. So they wanted to have a child. Who wanted to have a child? This man and woman, if you can see very clearly. Correct? They both are joining their hands. They both are at one place. They are sitting and their eyes is closed. They wanted to have a child, so they prayed to God. So they were not having any child. They were all alone, and they were having no reason to be happy. They were so much in their own world that they were very much depressed. So at some point they were very much depressed, and they finally prayed to God. They both, if you can see that they are praying with the joined hands. This is the position in which you pray. So now what they both are speaking is, dear Lord, please bless us with a child. Obviously they wanted a child, whether it's a girl or a boy, but they wanted a child to create happiness, to create the atmosphere of happiness in their house, which otherwise was very silent and very a kind of depression and unhappiness. So they wanted to make their house joyful, happiness. They wanted to fill the house with joyful. So they prayed, dear Lord, please bless us with a child. So now let's see whether the Lord granted their wish or not. What is the reaction of God? Let us see. Lord means God. So, and sure enough, God granted their wish. A baby boy was born, but he was very tiny. Now here the story starts, the actual story starts of 1 inch boy with this point. And sure enough, God granted their wish. Okay, means God granted, God accepted, God you can say permitted. Okay, He gave a child to them both. But what happened? What was the complication along with the wish? Was a baby boy was born, means a small boy was born. Baby boy and a baby girl means small boy and small girl. So here the boy was born, but he was very tiny. See, very tiny means very small. Now I'll zoom in this paragraph for you. If you can see that there is a baby boy in the hands of the man and the woman together. They both are holding the newborn tiny boy. Now the lady says, he is just the size of your thumb. So the man replies, yes, let us name him Ishubosi. It means 1 inch boy. So now lady and this man, the woman and this man, the husband and wife were discussing amongst themselves. The woman said that this is the size of your thumb. So students, just imagine the baby boy, the tiny boy was almost of size of the man's thumb. if you have ever seen thumb, my dear students, thumb means, it is there even on the bottle of thumbs up. It is even when you say best of luck to someone, you show your thumb. You say good luck to someone, you show your thumb. So that is the thumb in your hands, correct? So all other are fingers and one is a thumb, correct? So the tiny boy, just imagine students, that tiny boy was almost of size of thumb. So the man, without any further discussion, he said that yes, and let's name him Ishu Bossy. And according to him, the meaning of Ishu Bossy is 1 inch boy. Means obviously the boy was of 1 inch, so they named him accordingly. Now what happened? Slowly the boy grew up, and one day he said, "Dear father and mother, I wish to go to the city and work." And father and mother, the parents, said sure. Now slowly means gradually the boy grew up. Now obviously, every year you grow, correct? You grow with your mind, with your body, with your knowledge. Everything grows with you within a certain period of time, correct? A whole lot of people even grow, correct? It is like few people who have the hereditary problem with the heights and other things, exception. So this boy was exception, unusual but very much important character in this story. Like slowly when he grew up in the age, obviously not in the height, what happened? One day he said, so one day, if you can see that the parents are standing, they are they are actually sitting on the chair, and this baby boy is standing on the table because he was just of 1 inch. So he was able to talk to them like this only every time. So he demanded to his parents that he wanted to go to city. So this is very much clear by now that they were living in a kind of village. So he had a wish to go to the city and work, correct? So he wanted to work, he wanted to make his goodwill, he wanted to earn money, correct? So the parents, without thinking for a second, with a no time, they said yes, for sure you can go, my dear child. So the parents granted the baby boy's wish because he was the gift of the God. So the parents were even having confidence on this baby boy. So now, my dear students, the first two questions for you is, what did the man and the woman prayed for? I repeat the question, what did the man and the woman prayed for? What are they praying for? So those who have shouted the answer for the child, yes, you are right. So now, my dear students, repeat the sentence after me, please. Carefully repeat the sentence. The man and the woman prayed to God for a child. Repeat one more time. The man and the woman prayed to God for a child. And the second question for this particular part is, what was the name of the boy? Or we can even ask that what was the name that his father gave him? So the answer is, the name which his father gave him is Ishu Bossy, correct? And the spelling is even written, so you should not make the mistake, and make sure that I and B should be capital in Ishu Bossy because it is a name with two words. So now repeat the sentence after me, my dear students. Ishu Bossy was the name of a tiny boy. Repeat one more time, my dear students. Ishu Bossy was the name of a tiny boy. I hope you are repeating the answers after me, because this will help you to understand the lesson, as well as this will help you to remember the story simultaneously. And now I will bring this part in the center of the screen, and if you can see this scene, how the last scene is that the boy is going to city. Now let us read His father made him a little sword out of a sewing needle. His mother made him a little boat out of a soup bowl. If you can see, the father is waving his hand and the mother is very much sad because his child is going away from her. Obviously, the mother has the most sensitive heart and no one can replace the mother in the universe, entire universe. So I will zoom in this picture for you so that you will be able to see it very clearly, that the mother is with a sad face. She is looking down. She is not even looking at his child because that sadness is not bearable. She is in deep melancholy, and the father is waving because father doesn't want his son to be sad and leave them. He wants his son to be happy, to be something in life, to make his name and goodwill. So father is always the well-wisher of the child. So here what happened, his father made him a little sword out of sewing needle. Sewing needle, if you see, the needle which is used to stitch the clothes. So sometimes you might have seen your grandmother, your mother, or the tailors having that needle, correct? They use that needle to stitch the clothes using the thread. They attach the thread, they tie the thread with that needle, and then they use it to stitch the clothes, to alter the clothes, or to make the new clothes. So here his father gave him the sword. Obviously, when Ishubosi is almost of size of his thumb, so obviously even the sewing needle is a kind of sword for him, correct? Sewing needle, if you see, is almost of size of thumb, my dear students. If you haven't seen sewing needle, you can approach your grandmother or your mother that please show me the sewing needle. So you will get the idea that tiny sewing needle was a sword for Ishubosi. So then this soup bowl is working as a boat for Ishubosi, which his mother gave him. So his father gave him a sword and his mother gave him the soup bowl in a form of boat. And now after waving, after leaving from there, he sailed towards the city and he finally reached to the city. Now let's see what happened in the city. Ishubosi happily sailed to the city in the little soup bowl. On reaching the town, he came to largest and the most beautiful house. So this house, if you can see, how big? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 floors, 4 to 5 floors. So this is multi-storied house, isn't it so? So if you can see that how big is the house and how beautifully is it made. You can see the windows everywhere, the ventilation, how airy and how big. This house is not actually the big house. The word exactly used for the big house is mansion. mansion, mansion. So let's see what happens after Ishubosi. And first of all, you might be thinking, why Ishubosi arriving to the city, he directly came to this house? Isn't it so? This is just something to wonder. So let's see. The house of Sanjo, I have heard such wonderful stories about its master, Lord Sanjo. So this is what the words of Ishubosi are. Ishubosi says that this is the house of Sanjo, means he was knowing about the house and about his master. So the name of the master is Lord Sanjo. So he was the owner of this house. So my dear students, one question to you again is, one counter question is here for you is, what did Ishubosi's father give him? So the answer is, Ishubosi's father gave him a tiny little sword, okay, made from the sewing needle. Okay, now repeat the answer after me, my dear students. Ishubosi's father gave him a tiny little sword. One more time please. Ishubosi's father gave him a tiny little sword. Clear enough? Okay. So now he arrived to Lord Sanjo's house. Now let's see what happens and why did he come here. why he wanted to go to Lord Sanjo's house, this is what we will understand by reading the story further. Now, Ishubosi tapped on the gate. The master of the house came out, but he could see no one. Who could see no one? Lord Sanjo, the master of the house, was not able to see anyone. So, I am Ishubosi. Look down. I have come to serve you. Now, this tiny fellow is of almost of size of Lord Sanjo's nose, thumb, whatever you say. So, when he tapped, to tap the gate means to knock the gate. When you are outside and when the gate is locked from inside, you knock or you tap the gate for the person who is inside to come out and open it. Isn't it so? So this way Ishubosi even tapped the gate. So might be he tapped the latch or whatever the stopper was there. So Lord Sanjo came out. But Lord Sanjo, you know that Ishubosi is very much tiny. So Lord Sanjo, when he came out, he was just walking straight, he was looking straight and here and there, he was not looking down. And Lord Sanjo was not able to see anyone when he was looking up here and there. But at that time Ishubosi said that I am Ishubosi, look down. So by listening to Ishubosi's words, Lord Sanjo looked down to him. And further Ishubosi says that I have come to serve you. Now imagine, students, this tiny fellow, what will he serve to Lord Sanjo? What will he help to Lord Sanjo? So, my son, you are smaller than my thumb. What can you do for me? So these are the words of Lord Sanjo, great Lord Sanjo. So Lord Sanjo says that you are almost of size of my thumb, my son. Lord Sanjo was very kind-hearted. He was speaking very politely. Though he was a great master, he did not have any kind of attitude or ego. So very politely he said that my son, you are of size of my thumb. Yes? So what can you do for me? This is what he asked to Ishubosi. And what happened? If you can see that Ishubosi is holding the sword. Do you think that he is fighting with Lord Sanjo? No, he is not fighting with Lord Sanjo. To understand that, we need to read this paragraph. So I will zoom in for you. Just then a fly came buzzing by Lord Sanjo's ear. Ishubosi drew his sword and drove the fly away. The master was very pleased. He now asked Ishubosi to look after his beautiful daughter, Princess Sanjo. So now what happened, dear students? As soon as Lord Sanjo underestimated Ishubosi, he took him for granted that what this tiny child will do for me. And obviously, even students, if your younger brother or sister, or if you ask to your elder brother or sister that can I help you, your elder brother and sister, what do they reply? They reply that what will you help me, you tiny fellow? This way even Lord Sanjo replied to this Ishubosi. The Ishubosi proved himself on that spot. A housefly came near Lord Sanjo's ear. Buzzing means making that buzzing sound which flies usually make. So Ishubosi at that spot he pulled out his sword, which was again the needle, and he drove away. He forced the fly to go away from near the ear of Lord Sanjo. So this is what impressed Lord Sanjo a lot. Why so? Because Lord Sanjo just saw his smartness, his intelligence and his bravery. He saw the readiness of Ishubosi to do anything to prove himself. Obviously, to draw away the fly is not a big deal. You can easily draw away the fly by just waving your hand. But Ishubosi was proving himself. So Lord Sanjo was very much happy. And Lord Sanjo further gave the duty to Ishubosi to take care of her daughter. The name of the daughter of Lord Sanjo was Princess Sanjo. Now let's see what happened. Now, my dear students, there is again the twist in the story. There is a climax in the story. Let's see what is the climax. One day when the princess was going to the temple, a giant tried to carry her away. Carry her away means to whom? To Princess Sanjo. So Princess Sanjo was going to temple to pray the god. She was daily she was going to temple. Daily she was visiting the temple, and Ishubosi was always being with Princess Sanjo. His duty was to be with Princess Sanjo. So Ishubosi was there when the monster came to take Princess Sanjo away. Then what happened? Ishubosi said, "Leave the princess or else." So this way Ishubosi, if you can see this picture, he climbed on the hands of this giant. How brave he was. Look at the giant's 3 eyes, big teeth, the horns he had on his head. How dangerous with the red eyes. Will you fight with this giant, my dear students? No, I will never fight like this. If I'll see this, I'll run away. But Lord Sanjo had chosen this Ishubosi to take care of her daughter, and he made this choice with certain understanding. He knew that Ishubosi was brave with heart, he was gallant, he was not coward. So Ishubosi challenged the giant to fight with him. He said that if you will not leave the princess, so this way he challenged. And what did the giant say? What did he reply? "You little man, trying to scare me, let me swallow you." So to swallow means to gobble him up without chewing. If you have a little bite, without chewing, you just swallow it. It is just a piece of cake for you then. So this is how the giant replied, "You are challenging me, I will swallow you." So what do you think, my dear students? Ishubosi will be afraid? Because if you can see in the picture, the giant's teeth are almost of size of Ishubosi's height, entire height. And do you think Ishubosi can fight with giant? Now, my dear students, counter questions for you. The first counter question is, what was the name of the master of house? I repeat my question. What was the name of the master of this house? Okay, so for the one who is shouting the name, the correct answer is Lord Sanjo. So now, my dear students, repeat the sentence after me. The name of the owner of beautiful house was Lord Sanjo. See, Sanjo, Sanjo, here you need to write as capital because it is a proper noun, the name. Always I am reminding you this same thing, same instruction. Again repeat one more time, my dear students, so you will remember the name thoroughly. Okay, the name of the owner or the master of this house was Lord Sanjo. Okay, and the second counter question for you is, when did the or how did the Ishubosi impress the Lord Sanjo? I repeat my question. How did the Ishubosi impressed Lord Sanjo? If you know the answer, please speak even though I am not there. If you will speak the correct answer, you will enjoy that. Do it for yourself, not for the others. Enjoy the lecture. So one who have given the answer, I must say that, let me just clear it. What is the correct answer? The correct answer is, Ishubosi drove away the fly from near the Lord Sanjo's ear. This is how he impressed Lord Sanjo. And the third counter question for you, my dear children, that what kind of work Lord Sanjo gave Ishubosi? I repeat my question. What kind of work did Lord Sanjo give Ishubosi? Correct. For those who are speaking that for looking after the princess, you are correct. So the correct answer is Lord Sanjo gave the duty of looking after her daughter Princess Sanjo to Ishubosi. So my dear students, that's it for today's lecture. Yes, we will continue lesson number 1 and 2 in tomorrow's or in the next lecture. Till then, stay tuned, watch the lectures regularly, complete your work regularly, stay safe, goodbye.